Okay. But anyway, what's on your mind, kid?
This is my brother Eric. Over the years, a lot has happened to this guy. A lot bordering on the ridiculous. And everyone in my family knows this, because he would constantly tell us these stories about his misadventures. A lot of times, we'd be in them. Now, it's hard to determine exactly what's true and what's not. And we aren't mainly going on the word of a somewhat unreliable narrator. No, there's no explosions or fights with bad guys or feats of strength happening in any of these stories. Eric is more like a sitcom star than he is an action hero. These days, most of the stories he's told have been retired. But I've been able to convince him to dust off these old tales and share them with us on this podcast.
Do I need to hit record or anything?
No, I'm already recording. These are the stories my brother used to tell. Today's story, The Challanger.
I was thinking about this. This is like the life and death of the Dodge Challanger. Here's what I was thinking: is when is the day that the music died?
The day the music died is February 3rd, 1959. That's when musicians Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper were all killed in a plane crash, which is a bit more serious than what Eric is comparing it to.
So for me, the day the social life died is very important. It's like June 15th, 1985. And we know that because we talked about the Maritza story.
The Maritza story is episode 1 of this podcast series. If you've not listened to it, feel free to go ahead and check it out now.
Quick reminder, what happens there is, as a result of that misadventure, Joe D.
Here is your reminder that when Eric says Joe D., he is referring to our father.
Takes my entire life away by saying that you will not drive a car until you turn 18. And at the time, not 16. So this is a lifetime away. And I never even think that, I can't even fathom getting to the point when that's going to happen, which is, of course, July 10th, 1987. That's when I turned 18. So it's 2 years and a month. There's no ceremony to this. He isn't saying, well, hey, it's coming up to where you can drive a car. And as we know, on occasion, I have driven a car in between here at this point, but I've not been allowed to drive a car or to own a car. And so I am looking forward to this date from the minute this happens, which is, like I said, 2 long years. So when it does occur, by this time, I'm a man. I'm fully grown and developed, and I make my own money, and I'm out in the world, and I've made my decisions, and so I'm going to buy a car. And the last thing I'm going to do is get any advice from Joe D. Nothing. Even though I'm aware there's like rumblings about, I guess, who knows, maybe there's me running around even making declarations about how I'm going to buy a car. I don't recall that, but I'm sure everybody is aware that at some point I'm going to be able to do this coming up. And so because of that, I've heard him say things like,
well, you got to get the right kind of car. You got to, whatever it is, got to be within your budget. And, it's got to be the right style, and it's got to be the right kind of, engine.
A bunch of nah bullshit that I could care less about. It's going to look cool. I'm going to get exactly what I want. That's the plan. He's taught me, look, this is how modern society buys a car.
You go in and you bring your mechanic, and your mechanic looks over the commodity in which you are interested in investing in.
These are the words. These are the words that are so foreign to me. The only mechanic that I'm familiar with at this point, the closest mechanic I have is Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard. We are reasonably close, but I can't get a hold of him on the day that I've decided that I'm going to go out and buy my own car. Joe D, I know he wants to be involved. He doesn't know really how to negotiate that or initiate that, but I know he does. And so I'm not about to let that happen. I'm just going to go off and do it myself. And I don't bring a mechanic. And so when I buy my metallic blue 1978 Dodge Challenger, I buy it because it's so pretty. And it drives off the lot and it's just fine. And there I go, zooming around, having the time of my life. Yeah, I know that the car cost, it was $18.99. That's what that was the sticker price. I imagine with 4,837% interest that car cost, I don't know, 37 grand. I'm not really sure what that car was about to cost, but because that would involve fine line reading and things of that nature that I didn't do. So it's going great. I'm paying my $50 a week, as you know, and I'm having no problem for at least, I don't know, 8 or 10 days. There's no problem with the car. And I'm out with my lovely girlfriend one night and we're driving along and all of a sudden the car starts to wobble. It's doing a wobble thing. Wobble, wobble, wobble. And I have no idea what this could be. And so what's the thing to do when you hear some kind of rattle or something happening with the car, something that could represent danger? You turn the radio up so that you don't hear it. It's probably going to go away. That's just getting in my ear. So I might as well, more Rick Springfield. Okay. So there we go. The wobbling that doesn't fix the wobble. Okay. The wobble continues to where all of a sudden the car is like about to fall apart. I don't even know what's happening. It's like, it's not driving correctly. I'm trying to look behind me. I can't see what it is. I have to stop the car in the road, which is how you do things. You stop it right there. You get out, and I look at the tire in the rear, and the tire is like getting ready to fall off the car. I'm like, well, what the crap is that? That's ridiculous. I guess I have to fix this. So I know how to change a tire because since I'm 12 years old, Joe D has utilized us greatly to rotate his tires every 6 months. It's time to get out there and do your semi-annual tire rotation. And so I have no problem with that. Pop the trunk. Let me grab the spit. Where's the round tire? There's no tire in this trunk. Okay. So now this is a surprise. All right. And I imagine it's an oversight by somebody. I'm going to get to the bottom of this too. But right now, for the moment, I don't have another tire. I don't really understand the problem. So I go to the payphone, which is honestly right there because I'm on 48th Street, the bridge. And remember, what was the little convenience store over there?
Oh, I remember this. It was Mr. Grocer.
Nice work, Mr. Grocer. So I go over to Mr. Grocer and I call Joe D at like 1 a.m. or whatever it is. And I'm like, look, I got this wobbly thing going on and I don't have another tire. I need help. Okay. So Joe D rolls out there and he takes a look. First of all, he's got a lot of admonishment.
You don't have a spare tire in this thing.
Yeah, I know I don't have a spare tire in this thing. That was probably why I got it for $18.99 and not $19.99, jackass. Of course, think I don't know these things? You think my mechanic didn't tell me? So fine, that's not the problem right now, is it? It's the problem that the original tire is not working. And he looks at it and he says,
"You got the wrong rim on here."
I'm like, what? I don't even know. I don't even understand the words.
This rim does not fit onto this car. That's the problem. This tire doesn't belong on this car.
Well, it was on the car. I don't, That's weird. That's a head scratcher.
Can't have this tire on the car.
Well, what are we going to do?
Well, it rolled for now. We can do it for now. But you got to replace it.
Like, okay. We put it back on. The problem is it's like rounded. The rim is got a weird concave sort of shape to it. And it honestly, it goes on, the lugs will go on, it fits, but because it's rounded as it drives along, eventually it's going to unscrew. And that's what happened. A couple of these lug nuts came loose. So that, of course, creates the wobble. So it's like, just like so many things, it's good for now. And, in my world, good for now means good. So He's saying,
Yeah, so, tomorrow you got to go replace that rim. You got to get a new tire, you got to get a new rim.
well, how much is it? Something like that.
Oh, that's going to, that's going to be 60, 80, $100.
Oh, okay. So immediately I'm thinking, all right, so every now and then I just undo the wobble. That's all. I get out of I see how this is going to work. I'm going to get out of the car every now and then when it starts to wobble a little bit. I'm going to tighten that thing up. Off we go. Because spending $100 on something like that makes no sense to me whatsoever. So this is how we go. The next day, he says something like,
You getting that thing replaced?
yeah, getting it replaced, right? And that doesn't happen. So now I'm back on my journeys. So I got my own wrench, okay, is the point.
When Eric says he got a wrench, that's what he means. A channel lock wrench, which is definitely not a lug wrench, the tool you would need for car tires. Just a plain old wrench.
I actually got a wrench. It doesn't have a spare tire. It doesn't have a lug wrench, okay? But I didn't know this, okay? I was not aware of this at the time of the purchase. And it's not like they took me around the car and said, look at all the fantastic features it has, like a lug wrench. Look, that wobble took like 8 days to happen, okay? I got like 8 solid days before I get a little wobble. And of course, I don't have a spare tire. Some people in this situation might do a couple things like go out and purchase a spare tire and have that secured in the back of your trunk. You could do that, and then you could go and get another rim, the correct size rim, and put that on your vehicle and be perfectly safe and probably invest like what, $200 in a new rim plus the spare tire and be perfectly secure. Or $8, get yourself a nice little baby lug wrench and have it with you in the little mat pocket for $8. And then at the first hint of a wobble, boom, you fly out of the car, you crank that shit back up, chink, 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 and you're back on the road for the next, who knows, 3, 4, 6, 8 days. We don't really know, but come on, what's the worst that could happen?
Clearly, this was a solid plan.
So, one of my assigned responsibilities at this point, if you can believe it, is that now that I have a car, which I've had a car for like 8, 9 days. And so now, here's one of the things you get to do is to wake up at 7 in the morning and take your little snotty baby brother to school.
He means me.
This little punk over here. So what am I, 18? So you are 13. What I've arranged with you is that you are going to wake me up exactly when it is time to take you. This is what I've said to you. I don't want any extra nonsense. I'm going to get out of the bed and I'm going to get in the car. You're going to be in the car. We're going to roll to school, and that's it. There's not going to be a lot of chit chat. There's not going to be a lot of socializing, because I want to get back to, because what I really want is to continue sleeping. So I want to stay like as sleepy as possible. In that effort, we've done this a couple times. You come in, I got my keys right there, and I'm in like a t-shirt and honestly boxer shorts, right? Which are perfectly fine for me to get in the car. Like, I'm not even putting on regular clothes, just the boxers and the t-shirt. I get up, get in the car, and I take you, because I don't get out of the car. So, zoom, take you down there. You're sitting there all cute with your little books and everything. He was adorable, might as well say. There he is, being good, looking forward to his day at school. And he pops out of the car. I drive back immediately, roll back into the bed like it never happened. So, we've done this a few times with no incident. And so now on this day, I'm in the habit. Except for on the way home from the ride, I can only imagine that the wobble begins. I can't really say for sure because I'm efforting so much to be asleep in my car when this happens, because I'm already almost home. So the sooner I get there, the sooner the sleep happens. I guess I ignore the wobbly thing. I suppose I ignore it. To the point where suddenly the car is not wobbling anymore. The car has suddenly skidded to a halt right in the middle of the asphalt in the road, and I don't understand why. I'm shocked awake, and all of a sudden I see my tire has rolled away from my car, is rolling down the road away from my car. I don't understand what just happened. The car is won't move. There goes the tire. I'm in my boxers. I get out of the car. Only thing I think to do is chase that tire. So I'm running in the street, chasing after the tire. It's bounding along because, I was going 40 miles an hour. That tire is moving. And I'm thinking eventually that tire's going to stop. I'm going to catch the tire. I got to have the tire. The car wouldn't go. Otherwise, I would have chased it in the car. But no. So now I'm running after it. Thank goodness, by just a wonderful stroke of luck, the tire bounces into a sign. And when it hits the sign, the tire, all the momentum of the tire bounces it back. And I'm running right toward it. And it comes right to me. And I catch the tire, and we both hit the ground. Bam! Laying there, boxers, shredded, holding on to the tire. But I got the tire. So now I roll the tire back to the car. And I don't know what I really don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't thought about it. But the rim of the car it's ground itself into when, I was going fast enough that when the tire rolled off, the car just ground into the asphalt. And so it's stuck. It's stuck in the asphalt. Here I am with my, thinking I'm just going to jack it up and with my little lug wrench. Wow, I've never even seen a mess like this. I don't know what to do. It's in the road. So now what do I got to do? There's no Mr. Grocer in this area. So I got to throw that tire in the trunk and I got to run my ass home because Joe D is going to leave for work. He leaves at 8:30 and it's 8:15 right now. I got to run my ass down there and catch him. And it's exactly what I do. I've run this thing before and now I'm running it again in my underwear and barefoot. And that's how I'm doing it. And I get there, I make it just in time. Dad, you gotta help me. The tire came off the thing. It's in the road. I just left it right there in the road. So he obviously not happy. We get in the car. We get down there. But I gotta tell you, he's pretty prepared. He's figured out what to do here. He's able to jack the car up, in such a way that we can put this, again, this is where, the reveal comes, that I've not adhered to any of his advice, as we're jacking the car up, bring me the tire. I bring him that same tire. Because I'm telling, I don't know what happened. It just rolled off. That I don't know. He comes to this realization, not happy, But I'm like, that was only a couple days ago. I don't have, not everybody has a disposable $100, to just take care of problems.
So you're driving around with this rounded rim. I told you to replace it, get a mechanic.
Blah, blah, blah. As I'm standing there in my ripped up, shredded boxers in the road with my busted up car. What a jackass. It's all you do is, you're just always Mr. Wisdom. So we get the car, we drive it home, and now he decides that he's going to inspect it himself. And he says to me,
this car's a real piece of shit. Do you know that?
What are you talking about? What? One lousy wheel doesn't work so good?
Come here, look at this.
And the bottom of the car, where all the pretty metal used to be, the metallic blue metal, is all kind of crumbling up now because of my little incident where the car skidded into the thing.
Do you know what this is?
No, I don't know what this is.
This is Bondo. Do you know what Bondo is?
Nope. that the name of the monkey? What the hell? I don't know. What was the...
To be fair to Eric, I've never heard of Bondo either.
So I have no idea. Now, this is the 80s, okay? This is before you could, like, go online with your little Carfax and you could investigate. When you bought a car, which I didn't know, but you bought a car in the 80s, you were buying somebody else's bullshit story. And so I had no idea, but apparently what happens is when you wreck cars consistently, eventually you need to, like, replace parts of the body of the car. And so there's this paper mache kind of auto sealant thing that will, you know, replicate the shape of an actual car. I didn't know anything about this. They did a really good job on this car when I bought it. And now, after 9 days, well, it's been revealed that it really isn't the car that I thought it was. And apparently it had been, you know, it had a couple of incidents. That's all I can say. So he's having a really good moment here, which is the, like, I imagine he wants to laugh his ass off, but really it's like, wow, what a jackass you're turning out to be. Like, okay, great. So what's the solution?
You know, this is you own this car now. Did you buy here, pay here? And so this is what you're stuck with.
I now see the benefits of purchasing a new rim, okay? And I invest in that rim, and then everything is great. Until that tire, well, they weren't new tires, you know, when I bought the car. And this is something else you could learn from this little story, is that when you buy a car, you should check the treads on the tires, because they eventually will wear down and then you'll have to replace them. It behooves you to get a car that already has, you know, some pretty good tread on it. Otherwise, that's one of the first things you have to do. Like, I don't have enough expenses in my life. I just bought a rim. Now I realize that the wear on the tires is getting to be a problem. It's already at the problem stage, which means I need to take probably another month before I replace them, and then I'll take care of it. So we go along this way, and, you know, at this time, you know, I'm sharing the vehicle with my girlfriend, my lovely girlfriend, because she doesn't have a car. As you probably already know, I made an attempt to purchase another car for her. It didn't go very well. Finances aren't what you might expect, making $325 a week under the table, 56 hours. On this day, here's my plan. It's a payday. It's a Friday. And so it's raining. I have some concerns about driving this car in the condition that it's in. And so I say to my girlfriend, here's what I want you to do, okay? Take this money, which is like, I don't know, $100, and you need to go to the tire place and have them replace these two back tires, because they were like bald like Mel Cooley. So you might want to you can drop in a more better reference than that from this century.
No, I'm going to leave this reference in. For those of you under the age of 70, Mel Cooley was a character from the Dick Van Dyke Show. And yes, he was bald.
So I'm giving her specific instructions, okay? Look, here's this $100. You go to this place. They give you like two $40 tires, and then you'll be fine. Make sure you do this first, okay? Because at this point, I can tell you they're in bad shape, and I'm concerned. So she drops me off at work, 56-hour pizza place, and I'm not going to see her until, 9 o'clock. It's like 11 in the morning. Okay. So now I go and I work my incredibly hard day at the restaurant. I never expect a phone call or a visit or anything like that. She's just going to come pick me up. We've done this a number of times. So come around 8:45, my mother and father walk into the restaurant, and they've never been to this place. I don't even know if they know where it is, because it's in Boca and we live in Pompano. It's not close. So I don't honestly know if I've even told them. I don't know, but I'm completely shocked to see them walk in. And of course they walk in like,
oh, we just wanted to, look, this is where he's where he works. And Oh, I want to get some. Can I try some of the pizza?
This is Olga Munoz. I'm like, yeah, what the flip are you doing here? I'm gonna go see The Running Man with my girlfriend in a minute. What are you doing here? You cramping my style here. The crap is this?
No, we just wanted to.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready to close in 8 minutes. This is a little inconvenient for me. Fine. Throw them this little slices, and I want them to get the crap out. My girlfriend's I'm already anticipating like an awkward situation here where I have to like flat leave you right here at the restaurant because I'm not hanging out with you. Well, come 9 o'clock, and then my mom rolls up to the counter and says,
You know what, honey? Why don't we just take you home?
well, my girlfriend's
No, you know what? We already took care of that.
You took care. Okay. This doesn't compute whatsoever, okay? Because again, there's no cell phones in the picture. My girlfriend's out in the world. She's doing whatever she's doing with my car, and they couldn't be further apart from each other. To coordinate a thing where they have a conversation with her and say, you know what, we'll pick him up, we'll go get him and bring him home. It's not possible. So I'm really suspicious now as to what the hell has happened. But I'm also not savvy whatsoever, so I don't know what it is. But okay, so you want to take me home. All right.
Well, no, she's fine. Don't worry.
Okay, fine. All right, no problem. So I get in the car with them, and not a lot of chit-chat going on. I'm just sitting in the back seat, minding my own business. Just can't wait to get the hell out of here. And they see a Dunkin' Donuts, and they're like,
Hey, you want to get some donuts?
they haven't offered donuts to me since 1977. None of this is... Who are you? Really, who are you people? What's happening right now?
Yeah, let's stop off for some dough.
Like, this is something you might see in a sitcom, on a television show with like a normal family. This is never happening. Pulling off, yes, let's the three of us go in and commiserate amongst some donuts. I couldn't be more obstinate about the entire thing. Fine. They want to get the donuts. Now they want to sit down inside the Dunkin' Donuts. The three of us. This never happens. I don't know what this is, right? Let's all sit down with our little donuts. Joe D's got his coffee. I'm like, this is a trick. Something's happening. I don't know what it is. But I hate every minute of it. So there's mom, eating a little donut.
This is sprinkles. This is great.
What the fuck is happening, please?
Well, there was a little problem today, honey, and we just wanted to...
There's a problem? Tell us, what kind of problem?
Well, there was a problem, and so we just wanted to, we wanted to talk to you about it before we got you home.
In a public place? You want to tell me what the problem is? This whole thing has been a setup from the beginning to get me here in the Dunkin' Donuts? What's the problem? Now, Joe D is just sitting there, sipping his coffee, letting Olga tell the story.
Apparently, what happened this morning was your girlfriend, she had your car, and she had a little accident with the car.
She had an accident with the car? With my beautiful, wonderful, girlfriend? Is she okay?
Yes, she's okay. She's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's all that matters. How's the car? Just curious. Anything about the car?
Well, honey, what happened was she was getting off the highway and she lost control of the car. Something about the tires there's some problem with the tire, like the tread on the
Really? Oh no. Well, what happened?
Yeah, so the car apparently rolled off of the exit ramp and rolled like 3 or 4 times into the ditch and flipped around with her in the car. Apparently for...
What? This is in the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm getting the story. Now I'm leaping up in the air. Joe,
Relax. Everything's just relax. Everybody's fine. Everything's fine.
My car rolled 3 or 4 times?
Yes, but everything was fine.
Okay. All right. So she didn't hit?
No.
Nobody's dead? Okay. No.
She did have to go to the hospital.
The hospital?
But she's fine. She's got a hematoma.
Now, I know what a hematoma is because I saw Happy Days once when this happened to Fonzie.
Correctamundo.
He got himself a hematoma. So I know that she's going to be fine now that it's just a hematoma. All right, so it rolled 3 or 4 times. What kind of, did they unroll it? What's the...
Well, that's the problem, honey. So, unfortunately, the car really, it really didn't make it.
It didn't make it? This is my whole life. $18.99, $50 a week for the next 42 years, and the car didn't make it? I had the car for 16 days.
Well, honey, I'm sorry, but it was a really difficult day for us too.
Difficult for you? What the hell did you guys do?
Well, you don't understand what happened.
Well, tell me what happened. So here's what happened. And this is paraphrasing from Olga Munoz. So my darling girlfriend rolled the car, unfortunately, off the exit ramp and, had to be rescued from the car. The ambulance and cops come and she gets taken off. And of course, you can't, again, contact the owners very easily back in those days. So she's explaining the situation probably best she can. And they bring the tow truck to the site. And now they're going to bring the car back to my house. And, this is based on her telling them where we live. The way Joe D and Olga Munoz find out about this is the tow truck rolls up to the house, and there's my busted up, rolled up, crunched up car in the driveway. And, this is to their great chagrin. They go outside, and the guy's explaining, yep, this is what happened. This girl rolled the car, said, this car belongs here, so I brought you the car. So, oh my gosh, the shock and dismay, they're running around and horrified. And then the guy's going to release the car. And he says apparently that he wants some money for the tow. And so this is a surprise, right? But I guess, shouldn't be too big a surprise. The guy wants $100 for the tow. So on top of everything else, so Joe D is like miffed, just to say the least, about this situation. But if you're not going to pay the $100, they're going to take the car away. He doesn't want that.
All right, fine. I'll give you a check for $100.
Because he doesn't have $100 in cash. And so the guy says, no, it's got to be cash.
What are you, crazy? I don't have $100. What am I supposed to do?
Fine, you don't have $100 cash. I'll take it out of here. So Joe D decides that this is the hill he's going to die on, right here.
No, you're not. You're not taking the car away. My son's already rolled the damn car. I told him not to buy the tie. Now you're not no. So you leave the car right here, right now.
Guys getting in the tow truck. We have a semicircle driveway. So it's not a driveway that you can, back out of. You pull in and you pull out, you can drive right through the driveway. This guy's in the middle. And so what Joe D does is he goes and he grabs his keys and he's yelling at Olga,
get your car keys. Get your car keys.
This guy, he has to back out because where mom's and dad's cars are kind of blocking the other way. So he decides he's going to block this guy into the driveway. And he gets out and gets his keys. He pulls his car around and is telling mom to angle her car while this guy's trying to get the hell out of the driveway. All these cars are moving around in the driveway and Joe D is directing Olga to block the car. This guy gets out of the car and it's blocked in. He's like,
so drop the car, leave it there. That's it.
Well, this guy gets on the radio, calls the cops. And now they're all standing there in the driveway with the arms folded, waiting for the cops to come. He's not moving the car. He's saying, screw you. Olga Munoz is terrified in her car because Joe D is demanding of this. And so now the cop comes and Joe D, sounding a whole lot like Eric D, in my opinion, is saying a bunch of ridiculous things.
This guy brought the car. I'm not letting him leave the car. He's got to take $100.
Cop's like, whoa, crazy man. Okay. Tell the story, tow truck guy. So, yeah, I need $100, and he doesn't have $100. So that's how that works. Now, if I'm not going to get paid for my service, I'm going to take the vehicle, and he can come get it at the impound. And the cop's like, well, that's, I hate to say it, but that's reasonable. I'm sorry. So if you don't have
I
it.
have it. I have a check. I can give him a check.
He says, yeah, but I need cash. And so that's the only way we operate.
So what am I supposed to do?
He says, well, I have an idea. Why don't you can you go get cash?
Yeah, I can go to an ATM. I can go get cash.
Okay, so why don't we all just wait here? You go get the cash, and then he can give it to you, and you can be on your way. So the tow truck driver, he says, okay, fine. $1 a minute. $1 a minute.
$1 a minute. As in, for every minute my father is gone, that tow truck driver is adding another $1 to the bill.
So, again, Joe D, arms flailing, wanting to choke the guy, the cop, trying to separate him.
$1 a minute? What am I supposed to do? $1 a minute?
Got no choice. So, Joe D runs off. Now, in front of the cop, what am I supposed to do? Speed off, right? Obviously, the faster I can go, this is what they decided to do. Olga Munoz is telling the story in the Dunkin' Donuts to me. Joe D is sitting there with the face like, yeah, what do you want from me? He's not offering any excuses. He's just like, yeah, apparently that's what I did. So Joe D zooms off, and apparently he did it in like 14 minutes. He comes back with his $114, and he pays for the car, and the car's back. The car's left at the house. So now here we are. They're relating all this to me in the Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm just mortified at the entire thing, at the demise of my poor sweet baby blue Dodge Challanger. Honestly, that's the story.
At this point, you may be wondering, what happened to the car? Did it ever get fixed?
No, it didn't get fixed. That car, that car was such a disaster. That car had so many problems. It blew a head gasket, which is, kind of like death to a car to begin with, right? It was made out of like paper mache, all ball tires. The rims didn't even fit, no spare. I mean, this is the biggest, and you know what? They put it up on the big risers, at the car lot. Come look at this beauty. They were looking for the exact moron that I was that showed up. Some guy who's never bought a car before that likes pretty colors. Oh, I'll take it. And I'll pay triple what it's worth and pay it forever. And that was me. And it couldn't have been a bigger piece of shit. It didn't even have a regular radio. It had the frickin' 8-track player in it. So on no level was this thing cool except for a paint job. That's really it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Stories My Brother Used to Tell. This true story was told to you by Eric Delgado. Produced and edited by me, Dan Delgado. Music by Epidemic Sound. If you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did, then you can feel free to leave us a nice review wherever you can. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Or better yet, tell someone who might enjoy it. It may or may not help this show get noticed, but it will warm my cold, dead heart. You can also help the show out by buying me and Eric a coffee. Yes, this is really a thing. It's basically a one-time donation. There's a link in the show notes on how to do it, or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/theindustry. You can contact me through email if you like. It is dan@moviemaker.com. I am on Twitter at _Dan_Delgado or on Threads at DanDelgado74. That's it for today's story. Coming up next time...
I probably don't see anything where I signed whatever and it said, you now owe these payments in perpetuity. You pay until the car dies or you first, whichever.
That's next time on Stories My Brother Used to Tell. Good night.